All right, party people, welcome back to the podcast. Back to Tomboy Official. It's Weed Wednesday. It's day 15. Day 15 of Ina's Keys. So, this next section, let's see. How far did I even read? I didn't read that much. Just like a page, 2 pages more or something. So, ending around the middle of page 36. So we're about halfway through. But yeah, like she brings up a good point. A lot of good points. And like I said before, like I'm kind of glad to be going through this book like a couple pages at a time because I feel like just about every paragraph has like a good topic to it. And so if I were reading it like just by chapter or just by, just read the whole book in one day, which I probably could have just read it in one day, honestly. It's not hard of a read, but it's got a lot of depth to it. Like I know a lot of books, they tend to have like a lot more like fluff, I guess, and a lot more like just like expanding, like a lot of expansion on stuff. Like she's kind of straight to the point. So like it seems like every paragraph kind of has like a real point to it, versus like trying to make it longer and longer. And it is a pretty short book. So I do appreciate that. It's kind of like interesting to read a book that is short and small and tiny and thin, but just packed, It's just like, just key points. So I feel like even though I'm only really talking about maybe one key point per day, I feel like almost every day there's probably like about 2, 3, or 4 topics, within each 2 or so pages that I'm reading. And so I'm just kind of picking the part that sticks out the most to me, and going with that. So yeah. So she brings up this point about, how there are certain things that we invite into our lives or maintain in our lives, but they also might be things that we don't prefer, right? So for example, I can use my own examples, just the easiest. Like, you know, like people know I get frustrated with, flaky situations with people and stuff because it's just an inconvenience. And of course, there's room for error, there's wiggle room. Like, I'm not saying like I never cancel or that nobody can ever cancel or reschedule or whatever. I'm just saying, like, especially when it's like, people buy tickets, or like if I'm paying for certain stuff to go do certain things and have to leave early to be somewhere and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like I get a little like, okay, like everything's expensive now. Hotels, rental cars, tickets and passes to stuff, it's expensive. And so if I'm dishing out all this money to go do something specific with a couple people, and then they're kind of like, I'm gonna do some other thing, or not be there for, not schedule a time, not really, be ready, not really be available. It's kind of like, dude, I don't know. Um, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think the thing is too is that I do know like quite a lot of people, and so the chances of that kind of thing happening are pretty high. Um, and I know a lot of people that have a lot of trouble kind of organizing their weekends, and they like to drink a lot. And I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, they like to drink a lot. And, anyone who's been in that kind of pumped up mode where you're like planning, you're drinking, you're not really fully all there. And it's like something can seem good the night before the next day and be like, yeah, I want tickets to this, I want to go do this, I want to go do that. Then the next day comes and it's like, that wasn't like a truthful plan, or like it wasn't really like accurate. Like they don't even notice, I don't think, sometimes, like, so it's kind of hard to know when to trust. Like, okay, like I kind of go by certain people, I know they're really solid and they're really reliable, and then other people are just like, I just kind of, I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. Like, okay, like I just treat it like lip service almost lately, and just like, okay, they say they want to do this, but I'm like, okay, they don't seem to be making any moves on it, they're not buying any tickets, they're not planning about it, they're not mentioning it at all. So I'm like, okay, they probably really don't want to go do this, you know um so that's kind of how I roll. But I I so yeah, like when I think about that, it's like, I do invite that into my life. I do still keep trying to make plans with the same people. I haven't written them off, and you know, I still do try to make plans with them. So it's like, well, why would I even be surprised about being disappointed or frustrated or irritated with the situation not going as it was expected to go, if I know that some of these people just are super flaky? Like, it's just how it is, right? But also, I keep, you know, um, like kind of, noticing it. And, I've talked it through with some friends, with some other friends who kind of know these friends. Like, not like to talk crap about them or anything, but, you know, I just explained, on Friday to somebody, I was just like, because we know the same people, and I was like, okay, like, sounds cool, like I was just kind of telling them, like, my experience with certain people, with certain stuff, and because they were asking me, oh, when's the last time you saw this person or whatever, um, and I was kind of explaining, I think I've learned my lesson, and, you know, I'm just not gonna plan with them like that. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna do what I want to do. If there's something that I want to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna be like trying to make elaborate plans with people with like transportation and like, oh, like the next thing coming up that we started talking about is LA Pride, because Megan Thee Stallion and Mariah Carey, they're headlining, and it's a great lineup. And you know so I'm gonna have some friends coming from San Diego, supposedly. But I'm like, I don't really trust it. I don't think they're really coming. And I know they're gonna have, in their mind, like this whole thing. I mean, they're gonna have to get a hotel. There's no way they're not gonna be able to do the same day drive while drinking and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not gonna happen. So I know they're getting a hotel for at least one night, if not more. Um, and they're probably gonna want to include me and get me involved to come do all this stuff. And I'm probably just gonna be like, dude, like, my family's house is out here, so I'm just gonna chill at my family's place. Or if some friends are coming, I might just, like, some local LA friends, I might do, like, schedule something to kind of, spend time with them. And let the other people just kind of do what they want to do. If we meet up, we meet up. If we don't, we don't. That's kind of how I'm gonna treat it, is as if, almost as if they're not really there. I'm not gonna like bend plans or spend extra money just to try to plan with them. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do, get my tickets accordingly, plan my weekend accordingly, according to what I want to do, who I want to see personally, who I want to catch up with, where I want to spend my time and energy. And if they want to do that, then they can join. Or if they want to meet up later, then we can do that. But um, I'm kind of learning that that's just kind of how it's gonna have to be with certain people. Other people, it's more of a trustworthy situation. But I feel like I do have a lot of people that I've kind of allowed into my life, um, who just kind of, to them it's kind of like, oh yeah, like when they say something about like making plans, it's more like brainstorming, or more like, oh, it sounds like a good idea, but they don't really mean like solidly like, yes, we're locked in, I'm gonna do this for real, like legit. I'm all in 100% unless there's an emergency. Like it's not like that with them. Like they're like not even trying to really do it. And so, I've definitely learned my lesson with all that. I've been stressed about it for a bit. Um, but it's also because, the relationships I have with people, they do matter to me. And having like 100-mile distance between people that I have, developed relationships with over almost like almost just shy of like 10 years or so. It's like, I don't want to lose all those people in my life. I don't want to lose all those relationships. Like, we do kind of have a solid foundation and everything. And, I don't really even want to bring it up, that, you know, that, sometimes it can be a little bit disappointing the way things go or don't go. And it's not like I have like super high expectations. Like, I'm talking like basic stuff. Like, we plan to meet for lunch at this time and it didn't happen, or like somebody canceled, or we planned to do this at that time and somebody canceled, or whatever. It's like stuff like that. Like, it doesn't even have to be like big, huge, like expensive ticketed events and stuff like that. Like, I just mean like basic stuff, and it can be a little, like, I don't know, like, I interpret it a little bit as disrespectful. Um, you know, um, because there have been times where I wanted to go do something. Like, I remember specifically, um, one of my friends once. This was like right before the Rona. One of my friends once was gonna have like this game night or kickback kind of thing, and I was debating between like, okay, that weekend am I gonna go out to LA and see King Princess live, or am I gonna, because it was like, I don't know if the show was at the Forum or where it was, um or stay back in San Diego and go to this game night. Like, I think the concert was on the same night, and you know I was like, fine, I'll go to their place. And I remember one of my friends was on the way. He was on his way from, um, you know, like, he would pick me up. So he would come from like Riverside or something, and he'd come pick me up, and we'd go to that friend's house. And so, I was like, okay, so and so is like, almost to my house, and then we'll be on our way, kind of thing. Just to, because I don't like just showing up. I usually will give a heads up that, hey, I'm on my way, and then they're like, oh shoot, sorry, I forgot to tell you that we canceled, we're not doing it. And I'm like, okay, I wish I would have known. But it's like, so me and my friend just did something else. But think about it, it's like, this guy drives like 100 miles down to come to this event, this game thing, and then nobody even said that it was canceled. Nobody told us anything. And I'm just like, dude, I could have just got tickets to that concert I wanted to go to, and just not had, like, it's a 2 hour drive at least, and so it's like I can't just get tickets and then go. It's like by that time it's gonna be over. Um, like by the time I get there. And so, I was like, man, like that was kind of a bummer. And then I think because we had like weekend plans, all of us together, um, we were gonna do that one night, and then the next day we were gonna do some kind of like, I don't know what we were gonna do. Let's say it was like a little like outdoor day or something where we were like at the beach or something like that. There was something the next day coming up. And so we went the next day, and we met up with them. Um and they started talking just about, everyone's just talking. And then I find out, they did actually do something the night before. But I guess it was just us, like maybe they didn't want us joining. They kind of wanted like, cuz this is like they had like visitors in town or something, and maybe they just wanted just their visitors and them, or just some smaller thing without like extra people invited. Like, I don't really know, but I was a little weirded out by that too, because I was like, well, clearly you guys hung out and like you canceled on us, and like we were already like ready to go and went out of our way, you know, and things like that. So that it's stuff like that where it's like I don't really like canceling on people, on my end, because I'm like, well, they could have had other plans that they wanted to do. Because I've been in that situation where it's like, damn, like I wish I would have just not made plans with these people, or that, I mean, first, I wish they would have told me it was canceled, but second, it's like, I wish I would have just not made the plans because I really would have rather gone to this other concert or something, even if I was going by myself. And I think I had another friend that wanted to come to that concert with me, but I was like, I think I have plans, so I'm not going to get the tickets. And so I'm like, it's stuff like that that I'm just kind of like, all right, like whatever. But um, that's another thing about like um, also when you hang out with people who party a lot. I've kind of noticed, like I do have quite a few friends that party a lot, party hard. I don't think they're that, detailed about their plans. They're not very conscious of what they're planning, or if they're canceling, or how often they're canceling, or how kind of disorganized it all is, Um, and I mean, this kind of stuff happened like a long time ago. It was like a couple years back. It wasn't like, but it just shows it's like it was happening 2 years ago, and it's still happening up until this month, that some things kind of went down a little bit. And so it's like, you know, I'm not trying to write people off. I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to be around them. I expect perfection. It's not like that. Um, because I've had to cancel on people too. Like the other day, I was gonna meet with one of my friends, and I had a headache, and I was just like, it almost sounds like a lie. Um, I mean, I was having a little bit of anxiety about catching up with this other third person that was gonna join me and my friend, but I knew them from like middle school or something. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to talk to them, but I'm like, we're all local, so might as well. And if you know how LA is, it's like there's little city. LA has the county, and then there's like small little cities, and so each little city is like pretty big and packed in itself. And so the city that I actually live in, I still know a lot of people who live in this city, or their parents do, or whatever. But then I know people who live in Hollywood or downtown or Long Beach or wherever else. But I live in a different city, and so it's like, but I'm still in LA, so it's like, like sometimes it's like just nice to have people that are in my own city, so I don't have to go driving like an hour off somewhere else just to go grab coffee or whatever. But like, there's situations like that where I'm just kind of like, I feel bad, but also part of me was like hoping part of me was like, it would be nice to have a reason to cancel because I don't really want to go. Like, the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't really want to go. Um, Catch up with this person. Like, it's just a lot to be like, what have you been doing since you were like 12, Like, I haven't seen you like all through high school and all through college and all through your professional life. Like, how are you? What have you been doing? You know? It's like stuff like that. I don't really like catching up with people like that. Sometimes I'm like, we don't even talk. Um, so I was a little like, I don't know, because I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, I know a lot of people who are connected to one another, so it's like, if I catch up with this person and kind of talk about my life and stuff, and then they know other people that I know, and so I was thinking about the people they know, and somebody who has one of those people is the sister of this specific guy that um I mean I know him like cuz we all went to like middle school, junior high, like all that. Like I know him, but like he is connected to some of my friends, my guy friends that like we used to play basketball and stuff, and like they're friends with my brother and like all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, there's certain stuff that I'm like, okay, well, if I say this to my friends, is it gonna get to all these other connections and back to, some other people that I kind of don't want involved in my life in that way? And so it's kind of like that was kind of what was on my mind. Like, I don't know if it's a good idea to catch up with this person too much because they might, you know, share with all their extended friendship groups um, that they met up with me and might be like, oh, like she's doing this or that now, and like, not that I'm trying to hide it, but it is kind of like there's also certain people that I don't actively want to be like talking to or sharing with, and I feel like also to like directly say that to somebody to be like, don't tell don't tell anybody when it's not even like a big deal. It's kind of like weird, but it's just my own anxiety about it. I'm just like, because I do know quite a few toxic people. I've explained before, like I grew up around a lot of like really religious people that just, some of them just aren't okay. They're prejudiced and just they're not, there's no reason to really be around them. And she knows some of those people too. Um, so we have like a lot of social circles, maybe like a little bit in common, and with people that I've actively made it a point to stay away from interactions with them. And so yeah, like I don't really know, like um but yeah, with all this kind of stuff, it's like, you know I allow it, I invite it. I don't want it to go like weird or be uncomfortable or be irritating, but I also don't necessarily stop contacting certain people or avoid completely like interacting with certain people. Like there's still that, you know, I'll still get out there and just see what happens. Um and that's on me, like I don't have to be making plans with people or anything. Um so I just don't really know. Um Um, so yeah, like that's kind of the what was coming to my mind. Just mostly because the part where she was talking about, um, things that we, carry with us, even if it's in a new situation or a new city or a new environment, there still might be old ways or old habits or old patterns, that we carry with us and wonder why, things aren't better or things don't change. And this is, it's not a terrible example. I mean, like, I love my friends. I really love them. I'm not like harboring any resentment. I'm not, you know, um, bitter. It's just, I'm talking about memories. Like, it's not like I forget completely, like, wipe it out of my memory, you know. Like, I'm not mad about any of this stuff. Even the stuff that happened, like, this month, I'm like, like I said, I've learned my lesson. I've learned that this is just how it's going to be. If I want to plan with certain people, I have to get ready to be potentially disappointed because they're not organized enough or they're not really considering, what it's like on my end if they're canceling on me. But then also, if I don't bring it up to them, like, nothing's really going to change. But then also, I don't want to put pressure on people in their free time to be like, you better follow through or else I'm going to be mad, It's like, you know, um, but I do know a lot of people, and sometimes it can be a little frustrating to be like, well, I could have just planned with that other person then if I knew that this wasn't going to go the way that, we were supposed to or whatever. Um, like say, I don't know, I don't want to keep talking about it, but basically, um, yeah, that's kind of what I have to say on that note of kind of what was resonating with me. And then, um, let's see. So yesterday, Tuesday, man, I can't believe it's already this time of day. Uh, okay, so I'm looking at yesterday just to go through what I kind of did. Like I did some morning texting, some hydrating, podcasting, which I recorded 13 and 14 yesterday because I was a day late, but I did record something actually on day 13, but it wasn't related to the book. But we're on track now with the book. We've been on track now. 9:06 a.m. or so, I had a bento for breakfast. About 9:58 a.m., I did all the stuff I needed for the Google Fi and the phone. Everything's all set up now. I kind of watched some videos. I don't know what I was watching. Around 12:30 I had lunch. Around 12:54 p.m. I started studying and then fell asleep basically within 30 minutes and then napped till about 2:22 is when I checked my clock. And so maybe about a little less than an hour, I just kind of knocked out, guys. I knocked out. I fell completely asleep. I studied again from about 2:30 to 4:58 p.m. and then I had dinner. Probably, I think I smoked a bowl a little bit and then had dinner, and then that was around 5:30 or so, if I recall correctly. And then I watched The Wolf of Wall Street, which took till like I put 8:29 p.m. Then I started studying again. At this point with my studying, well, I must not have studied that much. Well, I took melatonin at 9 p.m. and it started kicking in real fast. And yeah, so as of yesterday, I'm about a quarter of the way through with what I need to study. I think I'll be applying for work sometime before the end of April. I'm not I am not ready. I but I need to be working. You know, it's time. Um 3 months off is one thing. I think 4 months is kind of like okay, like I don't want to take a fourth whole month off. So, I don't know. Um I want to at least finish my exam and um have my resume and everything prepared and ready and be ready to apply for work. There's a little fear in me. That's why I'm hesitating. That's why I'm stalling and procrastinating. And I'm also just tired. Um, I mean, even when I go to San Diego and I start talking to my friends from the psych field who are still working in the field, it's like I do love catching up and hearing what they have to say, but I notice it is kind of triggering and impacting on me when I hear them talking about what they do at work and like just having to listen to like all the stress that they experience. I'm just like glad that I'm not doing it anymore, but also I'm like, man, like it's a little stressful. Like sometimes when I'm out with friends, I'm kind of like I don't really want to talk about work, you know? Like I don't want to talk about their work. Like I'm not even working and I don't want to talk about their work, you know? But I'm about to get into reading this book. Uh, I was supposed to be doing like 8 hours studying a day, and I really don't feel like it. Um, but that if I can do that for the rest of this week on the weekdays, and then next week, I think I'll be set to take this exam. I'm just tired, guys. I'm tired. like, uh, it's hard to really explain, but I don't know. I'm I just haven't been sleeping good either. You know, I fell asleep okay last night. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was up till like 1:30 in the morning. Like I was nodding off when I took the melatonin like a little after, but I think it's cuz I was studying. Um uh I took a small like a mini test. I got a book I need to read today, so I'm going to read that book. Um um yeah, it's just a lot, guys. Like, it's a lot to get back into work for me, but it'll happen. It'll happen. I think I know the companies I want to work for potentially. So, and the pay rates are decent, and it's likely going to be remote or hybrid. Um, so I'm excited, but also like I'm still very easily drained, if that makes sense. And it's not just because I'm not sleeping well. I mean, that's part of the reason why, but I mean, I was feeling that way even before this, and I'm just not sleeping well lately. Today I haven't had any caffeine yet, so I'm probably gonna fall asleep. Honestly, I'm so tired. Even when I woke up, I was tired, but I was like, let me eat breakfast. You guys might laugh. I had a cauliflower mac for breakfast and some of this kosher grape juice, Kenem brand grape juice, because I love it and it tastes amazing, and it's not like the Welch's type that kind of has that dry taste to it. This one's like really smooth. I'm literally gonna drink a bottle of this thing by myself, like today and a little more tomorrow. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna just study, nap. That's kind of what I'm gonna do all day today. Um, it's a rainy day, so I'm already annoyed. Um, but it said it was gonna stop raining from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we'll see. Um, I'll take a break around noon. I did all my morning texting and stuff today. I'll take another break around noon and then, or in the afternoon, maybe not 12 noon. I don't know exactly yet, but around noon. But yeah, well, I gotta get on with this book, um, and get on with my day. But that's it for now. These episodes are getting a little shorter. Hope it's not bothering you. Like I've got some other stuff I need to do, and I've kind of been a little all over the place, being out of town and not sleeping good, and I'm trying to kind of get my schedule a little bit tighter this week. Got a rave on Saturday coming up. I'm super excited about that, but I think Saturday is going to be the day that I'll have completely off. So I really don't have a lot more days of studying this week. And then Monday, I guess I'll study Monday. Or Sunday, I mean. I haven't solidified plans in Orange County. So if I don't have any plans on Sunday, I'm just staying home. But if some friends do reach out, I'll make time for them. So yeah, that's it for now. Alright, I'm gonna get on with my day. And thanks for listening.